cow. I'm going to try my best, and I mean try my best to focus right now because I just got off of, keep in mind, I've been at this now in April. It will be 19 years that I've been with Andy Albright. It's been 19 years. I've been seeing crazy things happen. Seeing stuff like we went through the subprime lending crisis when the rest of the world thought that insurance sales was going to end forever. And then we grew through that, like 9/11, all the crazy stuff I've seen. I've got to tell you, the call I just got off of, the trading call we just got off of, was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. One of the craziest opportunities. It was, I can't even figure out words to describe it. So if you're just getting to meet us, if you're brand new, understand that we're not always this crazy. It's just we are in a time of craziness. And we just had one of the craziest calls. There's crazy opportunity opening up. We know that there's things going on in the world around us. We know that the coronavirus is a real deal, but there are tons of people that need our help. And we just laid down one of the craziest training resources that I have ever seen in 19 years of being with Andy Albright and the other leaders of this company. I've never seen a resource like the one we just laid down. So that's why I'm a little crazy right now, because I'm just thinking of how many people I know and how many people I need to call personally and text personally and say, dude, we need your help right now. The number of people that need our help is it's growing, and the urgency is growing, and we've got a crazy window to help a lot of people, and it's going to change a lot of lives for the positive on the other side of this when we get through to the other side of this. So I'm Stephen Davies. I'm glad we're getting to chat. I'm going to introduce you to some of my people in a little bit, but what I want to do is walk you through the basics of the Alliance. The Alliance is something I found will be 19 years ago next month. And I love talking to new people. I love talking to new people because it's a shared experience that brings us to something like this. Because there are very few children I know of that are tonight going to go to sleep in their room, looking out the window at the moon, having that very Disney moment, just going, someday, if I keep my heart pure and I follow my dreams, I'll be an insurance agent when I grow up. Yeah, it's not happening. We all kind of end up here on accident, but it's a set of experiences that brings new people to us. For instance, if you're brand new and you're looking at us for the first time, maybe I could ask you this. Are you frustrated? And not the kind of frustrated that you can describe with words. I'm talking about the kind of frustrated that you start with words, but you end up just making noises. And you know what I'm talking about. That kind of frustrated where you're like, it's just that, right? That kind of frustrated. Yeah, that was me 19 years ago if you'd have met me. Maybe you feel held back. Maybe you feel held back for some of the stuff that we're not supposed to get held back for. Or maybe you just feel like, God, there's got to be something more. And really, that was me growing up. Growing up, I was just like, there's got to be something more. There's got to be something worth finding. And that's what eventually led me to the insurance business. I grew up on free lunch at school, free lunch and hand-me-down clothes. And you don't know, unless you grew up like I grew up there, you don't know the feeling of seeing one of your older cousins or older friends go through a growth spurt right before school and they go to a different school. Oh man, that's the new set of clothes right there, baby, coming right up. Or free lunch. Anybody says there's no such thing as a free lunch apparently didn't grow up in the income bracket that I did at Smoky Mountain High School. So that's where I came from. I got into the insurance business because I saw it as a way to earn what I was worth. I saw it as a way to maximize it and go, you know what, if I get into this, maybe, just maybe, I could earn more than just something per hour and create some freedom. Well, after 2 years of being in the insurance business, I was ready to quit. In fact, I was getting ready to take a job that somebody had lined up for me, and it was, through acquaintances, and it would have had a little salary and a little benefit package, but it just felt like giving up. It just felt like giving up. It felt like giving in and giving into that rat race. I was just like, I gotta keep trying. Well, I answered one more newspaper ad, and for all of the young folks watching in the audience, a newspaper. So the way that works is that what they used to do is they would take all the stuff that happened today, and then tonight they would print it. And then tomorrow you could learn about what had already happened. And based on your ethics, you can either get one of these newspapers or all of them for $1.25. If you go to a museum, you can learn about these things. You can also learn how movies used to come on a square. It was crazy times. It was the 90s. I always, I always joke around like that. Like people point back from the time, it was the 60s, man, things were crazy. It was the 70s, man, things were crazy. So I just started saying that about the 90s. It was crazy. Movies came on squares, news was in papers, crazy times. But that's when I met Andy Albright, through a newspaper ad of all things. And when I talked to Andy, keep in mind the place I'm at. The place I'm at is, do I give up on this, or do I, you see what I'm saying? And maybe you were at that place, or maybe you know what that place feels like. That's the place I was 19 years ago when I met Andy. But when I talked to Andy, there was just something different about him. Keep in mind, I was answering every ad you could possibly relate to something involving sales. I just every ad, and everything sounded the same. So I just like, everything sounds the same, everything feels the same. And then I talked to Andy, I was like, something different here. And I'm so glad that I talked to Andy and then drove down to Burlington, North Carolina to meet him. And when I drove down to meet him, I mean, y'all, there was a reason I was thinking about quitting the insurance business. We were 3 months behind on rent and behind on car payments. And I don't know if you've ever been that far behind on rent, but that's a scary place. Sometimes people, when I do this meeting like live, they'll go, hey, I get it. I was 3 months behind on a mortgage one time. And I'll say, no, that's nothing like being that far behind on rent. You're that far behind on a mortgage, yeah, you get all kinds of time before it gets ugly. When you're that far behind on rent, here's what coming home every night feels like. This is the key. Just and when the key works, it's the most amazing thing ever happens. That little transaction should not bring that much joy to your heart. But let me tell you, when you're in the shape financially that we were when I found the Alliance, that's what you go through every night. And that's why I was thinking about leaving the insurance business. And, it's funny, too, because the credit union's like, we're going to have to take your car. And I was like, do me a favor. I mean, it's a Mazda 626 with 247,000 miles on it. I owe you $3,000 on a car that's worth 500 at best. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how bad it was. But when I drove down to see Andy Albright and I talked to him, I got that feeling of hope, just going, I think I got something. I think I got something. And maybe you're at that point too, where you've talked with some of our leaders and you go, I talked to so-and-so, I feel like I got something. Here's what I'm here to tell you. I hope with every fiber of my being that's what this is for you, that it's for you what it's been for my family. And so what I want to do is walk you through some of the basic questions surrounding the Alliance. And then I just want to introduce you to a few of my friends. And really, I'm going to talk about 4 basic things. And it's the informational part. Don't worry, I'll give you plenty of information. But what I really say is, if you feel the need to judge what we're doing or feel the need, if you got to figure out, is this for me or not? Here's what I'd say. When I introduce some of my friends, look at them. Are they real people? Are they getting results? Hey, I'm going to show you a resource we have in a little bit called Hotspots, which is something that will open back up for us, in the next little while. There's opportunity to meet more people. In the meantime, I would reach out to whoever introduced you to the Alliance, and they can introduce you to people and just talk to people. Because here's the thing, here's what I know. You can fake a lot of stuff in business. I mean, good Lord, with the internet, you could look crazy legit, but be operating out of a gas station bathroom in your trunk. That's the reality of this world. So I get a certain dose of cynicism, especially, when I travel all over the country and do this meeting, I get a certain dose of cynicism. I understand that. But what I'd say is, just get with whoever invited you. They can connect you with some people. You can join in on more meetings like this and meet more people, and see more stories. Because here's what I know: while you can fake a lot of stuff, you can't fake quality people getting results. I mean, you can't fake it. You can't fake quality people getting results. And that's what we got going on right now. That's what we got going on all over the country right now. And it's crazy. I know this we're recording this at a time that's one of the craziest times that we've seen. And yet we're thriving. That's one of the things that has me so excited, especially getting off that last call, is this company's got leadership. So here's what happens. Companies with bad leadership during crises, they fold, they collapse, they crumble, they go away. Companies that have good leadership, they survive. But companies with great leadership, and over the last few weeks, being on some Zoom calls with our leadership team, holy cow, companies that have great leadership during times of crisis, and this is a time of crisis, during the time of crisis, they get better, they grow through it, and then on the other side, they thrive. And that's what I've seen. I've been with Andy through some major crises financially and in this country, and that's what's happened every time. When the rest of the world got scared to death during the subprime crisis and they were figuring out B plans, all Andy said was, boys, get your buckets. There's going to be a big opportunity on the other side of this. And that's the kind of leadership we have here. And that's why I say that last part, I'll give you plenty of information. But that last part about introducing to some people, to me, that's the main part. If there's quality people, quality leadership, well, by God, there's got to be something to it. Does that make sense? So let's get into those questions. What are those 4 questions? Well, I'm going to talk about what is the alliance. I'm going to try and give you the 10,000 foot view there. Like if you're looking down on the land from above, you know, from that 10,000 foot view, what does it look like? Second thing, what's the opportunity? And there I'm going to try and describe 2 things. One, scale, right? Like it's cool that me and a lot of my friends here lives have changed because of this. But if it's not big enough for you, who cares, right? So is it big enough for you? And then not only that, but is it going to last? How long will this thing go? So those are 2 questions I'll answer for you there. Then I'm going to get into the how. How do we do it? I'm going to walk you through some of the basic components of our system. In fact, I'll direct you to get a new agent guide from whoever invited you on this call. A new agent guide is a wealth of information beyond the stuff that I'm just going to share with you briefly this evening. Then we're going to talk briefly about how the money works. And then the last thing, like I said, I want to introduce you to some of my friends. So let's get started. What is the Alliance? Look, the Alliance, we are out to help Middle America. We're out to help Middle America with basic financial services. We used to just sell life insurance. It's now evolved into being able to help Middle American families full circle. And Middle America is a mess financially. When you look at the situations folks are in going into this crisis, that's why people have panicked so much, because they were already in a rough spot financially. But that's our focus, is to help Middle America financially. We work with them on basic things like life insurance, like retirement, not only planning, but protecting, and at this point for a lot of folks, just preserving retirement. We work with people on health matching accounts to help with the large deductibles and things that they can't really plan for inside of their health insurance. We work with people on debt reduction. We work with people helping Middle America overall with financial services. And really the Alliance is 2 things within one. One, you can come in and make a 6-figure and crazy 6-figure income, just making sales, just helping families with products. 2, you can come in and make a deep 6-figure or 7-figure income through building an organization. And that's really what we recommend. We recommend doing both of them. You'll hear us say both of them because that's our phrase. But if you're new to us, that means both of them. We recommend you do both of them. Sell and build a team. Andy Albright taught me that early on. He said, Bo, here we sell to eat, but we build to live. And that's really what happened after I met Andy and got started. My first year with the Alliance, I made $240,000 in commissions. About $150,000 of that was from sales, and the rest was override commissions. My second year was $680,000. Same thing, about $150,000 from the sales I made on products I sold to families, and then the rest was override commissions. And then the third year went to $1.2 million. Again, made about $150,000 from products I sold to families, and then over $1 million in overrides. And it's been crazy and crazy and crazier since. Now, when you go through those numbers, you can see why we recommend both of them. We recommend sell and build a team as you go. That's how you can get some crazy freedom through our system. But that's what we do. We help Middle America with their basic financial services. You can make a 6-figure income just selling. You can make a crazy 6-figure, 7-figure income building. What we recommend is both of them. Now, do you have to sell? No. Do you have to build? No. I mean, I think if you want to keep hanging out with us, you ought to do at least one of them. There's a lot of people here doing really well. You should too. But what we really recommend is doing both of them at the same time. And that's how we'll mentor you. But when we come back to the end of the day, this is what's called a whosoever doeth company. Meaning you tell us what you want to get done. We'll tell you what you got to do to get there. I've been at this now, like I said, it'll be 19 years next month that I've been with Andy. I've got people on my team that just do 2 to 3 sales a month. Some of them are retired and they just like making a supplemental income. I've got others that are involved in full-time ministry work or things like that. And so they do, just a few more. And then I've got crazy people, and I'm going to introduce you to some of my crazies in a little bit. I got crazy people that want to make millions of dollars, and that's fine too. And we got them everywhere in between. And so that's why at the end of the day, here's what we'll say. What do you want to get done? And we'll tell you what you got to do to get there. I've been doing it 19 years. The other leadership, we all go back so far, which is, again, going to my last point about the people, that tells you something. When a group of people sticks together like we've stuck together and continue to get results for over a decade and a half, coming on 2 decades for me, and a lot of the guys go back even further, that tells you something. But what we really recommend is come on board, tell us what you want to get done. We'll tell you what you got to do to get there. We have it down to pretty much an exact science. Within a few bits of activity, based on people's skills, we can tell you what you got to do to get there. All right. So what's the opportunity? The opportunity is huge. You look at we touched on this briefly, but you look at the need in Middle America. The need for what we do is massive, and it's only growing. In fact, whoever invited you on this call, they can send you a Forbes article that shows even just right now in the midst of what's chaos for a lot of the world, life insurance sales are spiking. Why? Because people even before this didn't have enough. I mean, you look at the average family. I mean, draw a circle around you. And this is even prior to what we're seeing. Draw a 3-hour circle around you. If you're in California, draw a 3-hour circle of normal traffic. But a 3-hour circle around you, you tell me, what percentage of those families are basically paycheck to paycheck? It's funny, I do this meeting all over the country, and it almost starts to be like an auction. I'll say, what percentage? And they'll say, 80, 85, 85, 95, 95 here, 95, 97, 98, 98. But because everybody knows, most families are just basically paycheck to paycheck. Now, here's what's crazy. Not only are most families basically paycheck to paycheck, most of them don't have any life insurance. I mean, it's like 70% of Middle Americans got no life insurance. Now, what happens when a family that's basically paycheck to paycheck has no life insurance, and then you lose one of the income earners? What happens? Well, what's an emotional upside down, just crazy time in life becomes a financial shipwreck. That's exactly what happens. And that means that the kids that just lost a parent are now going to lose all their friends. Why? Because they got to move. And I don't know about you, but growing up, that 100% would have happened to me if we'd lost one of my parents. We'd end up growing up in my grandma's spare bedroom in her apartment. That's the reality as it was. And that's the reality for most of Middle America, the largest percent. And that's just life insurance. The other things we help with, retirement, helping people reduce debt, all those things, this massive, massive, massive need. And what are the numbers? Well, here's what I can tell you. The big companies we work with, and we work with multi-billion-dollar financial companies, they all spend millions of dollars on market research. And all their market research says the same thing. It says, all y'all bring all your friends. We'll never get to everybody that needs what we got. Now, it says a little fancier than that because it's market research, but if you boil it down, that's what it's saying. Bring all your friends. We'll never get to everybody that needs what we have. And we just talked briefly about the people that don't have life insurance. The ones that do have life insurance don't have enough. How do we know that? Talk to the big insurance companies we work with. They'll tell you. The large majority, I'm talking like 90% of the checks that they cut as far as death benefit are spent entirely within the first year. Why? Because people didn't have enough. So they get through that time, but then they still lose everything anyways. It's a massive, massive, massive need. That's the first thing you need if you want a big marketplace to do something big. So you got a massive marketplace. What else you need? You need companies that got the products. We got that. We got multi-billion-dollar companies. In fact, here's the craziest thing. The call we were just on, the training call we were just on, one of the high-level executives of one of our companies just dials into our Zoom just to share more good news. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. Now, I don't know, maybe you've been in this situation. Have you ever worked at a company where the company you worked for, including your managers, just didn't get it? You ever been there? You ever felt at the office like, am I the only one on crazy pills here? Because nobody gets it. Yeah, That's frustrating. We're not dealing with that. Not only is it a massive marketplace and massive multi-billion-dollar companies, we're dealing with massive multi-billion-dollar companies that get it. Now you take all that, you add that up, that's a massive, massive opportunity. And that's why we say, hey, bring all your friends. We'll never get to everybody that desperately needs what we have. Here's what's crazy. You could become a millionaire in the next 2 years with us, in the next 18 months with us. Diane Lampy out of Dallas, Texas holds the record to the fastest. You could do that. And here's what's crazy. Nobody will notice. That's how massive it is. Nobody will notice. Don't get me wrong. We'll notice. You'll get a lot of hugs, a lot of high fives, and we'll notice. We'll celebrate. But nobody will notice in the industry. Why? Because it's that big. You going to becoming a millionaire and building a giant organization would just be like throwing a bucket of water in the ocean. That's how massive the opportunity it is. So we need a lot of help. That's why even at a time like this, when most of the world is thinking retreat, 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 we're thinking advance, 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 because it's a massive marketplace that desperately needs our help. We got the companies that got the products, and we got the leadership in place to make sure it happens the right way. It's a massive, massive opportunity. Now, how are we attacking it? That's the third question I told you to get to. I'm going to walk you through some basics here. Now, I referenced a new agent guide, and please, whoever invited you on this call, they can send you an electronic one real quick. They can also get you a paper one in your hands. But get that new agent guide. It's a wealth of information. I'm going to give you some of the surrounding pieces. Now, one of the first things is what we call the playbook. The playbook is us on one sheet of paper. Let me ask you this. Have you ever had a job where you just wish that they would be a little more clear with you about exactly what it is you want me to do here? That's frustrating, right? It makes me want to scream. In fact, that might be why I jumped on the call. Like you had one of those days, like, right? Or you ever been on the other side? You ever been on the side where your employee handbook is that big? Oh, tell you what, you give me this many rules, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to stay in trouble. In fact, go ahead and fill out my termination paperwork now for, I don't know, about 17, 18 months, then do some write-ups every 90 days just to, get the paperwork taken care of. But that's where this is going. You see both extremes frustrating. When you look at our playbook, it's crystal clear and it's simple. It's us on one sheet of paper. It's why we feel we exist as a company. It's how we're doing our best to behave and how you'll eventually need to do your best to behave. And then it's what you need to do to win. It's all on one sheet of paper. All on one sheet of paper. In fact, here's how crystal clear it is. And you can get my cell phone number from whoever invited you on this call. If not from them, they know somebody's got my cell phone number. Here's what I'm inviting you to do. After your first 30 days, take that playbook, grade yourself on it, text me a picture of it. I'll predict your income for the next 12 months, scary close. Why? Because that's how crystal clear it is. It's everything you need to do to win with us. And it's on one sheet of paper. We call it the playbook. Now, one of the things on that playbook is our 8 steps. That's one of the things that you need to do to win with us. Now, I've got some of the older copies of the book because I'm in my personal library and I keep all my older copies because I just love it. So the new one, it doesn't look like this, but this one's special to me. The 8 steps. What are the 8 steps? It's the DNA of the company. It's what you need to do to win. If you take the 8 steps and just do them, you'll win. And it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when that you'll win. In fact, even folks that don't do well with us will get that works. I was talking with a guy after we call them hotspots, and we'll have them again. We've paused a lot of them now just because of government regulations and restrictions. But I do a lot of hotspots, and after a hotspot, I had a guy one time come up to me and say, "Hey, he's telling me his whole story, like you don't understand how tough it is, and it's not as easy as you back then." So I was like, "Whoa, stop." And it wasn't that I didn't want to hear it. I just didn't want him to have to hear it all over again. Does that make sense? I could tell my man had been telling this story a lot. So I said, dude, let me make you a deal. I'll make you a deal right here, right now. I'll put you on salary starting immediately. Now, if you go on salary, I get to keep your future commissions. And if you go on salary, this is going to be just like a job where you got to do certain things to keep getting that salary check. And you want to know what those are? They're going to be the 8 steps. Here's exactly what he said back to me. He goes, well, if I do all 8 steps, you're going to make a lot of money on the commissions. I was just like, oh, I know you said it, but please tell me you heard it. Tell me you heard it. He got it even if he didn't get it. Does that make sense? He was just fighting it for whatever reason, didn't want to do the 8 steps. That's cool, whatever. But even though he didn't get it, he got it. Does that make sense? That's how powerful the 8 steps are. Now you take the 8 steps and you match that with the Millionaire Maker Manual. And this is one of the older ones. They're my personal favorites. They're in my library. If I was doing it in my office, I would have the newer copies, but these are my personal ones. This is how you build a business with us. When I do this meeting on the road, here's what I get a lot. Oh man, I wished I got in back when you did. And I'm like, no, you don't. We were making it up as we went back then. Here's what would happen. Some of the guys that have been with us a long time, like Katz or Avian or Fitz, they would have an idea. And they would, or 11 Toes have an idea, they go do it, right? And it'd work out. And so we put that on a list called the keepers, right? And then like I would have an idea and I would go do it and it would be a disaster. And then we put that on a different list. And so we had 2 lists that we built the whole time we built a company. This is the keepers. Does that make sense? This is the keepers. This is what works. If you want to build a multi-million-dollar business with us, you can. Here's our strategy. I mean, everything from how to sell the products to how to hire and train agents is all right here. It's all right here in the Millionaire Maker Manual. Now, sometimes people ask me, don't you worry about publishing your strategy? And I'll say, nope, and I'll show you why in a minute. It's because you can't copy the heart of the organization, but I'll show you that in a minute. All right, next thing, Inside the Circle of You. This book is your decision guide. Every person that has built a big business with us has made a series of decisions. It's been for me, it's been a series of decisions that Andy has helped guide me to make. That's what this book is to me. It's a guide on how to make a series of decisions that will help you build a big business with us, Inside the Circle. Now, remember, I mentioned earlier about the us publishing our strategy in the Millionaire Maker Manual, which you can just call it the Green Book. Admittedly, Millionaire Maker Manual is hard to say a bunch of times in a row. I just have a lot of practice saying Millionaire Maker Manual, but that's the Green Book. So we say, why would you not worry about publishing that strategy? Because you can't copy the heart of our company. This is the heart of our company right here. It's our house of values. One of the other things you'll see on the playbook is our values. And if you're out there right now and you're going, oh God, corporate values, I get it. The thought of corporate values makes most people want to throw up in their mouth. Totally get it. Why? Because most companies take the idea of values, they preach it, and then they drag it through the mud. Maybe you've had a job where they got the values on the wall, but this is how we really operate, right? Yeah, we've all seen that. Here's what I can tell you. You'll see the values, and in short, on our playbook, this is the meat behind it. It goes in depth on each of our 8 core values. And the one I like to talk about the most is our 8th core value of gratitude. That's what makes this thing fun. Like if you're just getting to know us and you're like, man, these people seem all right. It's because we're a grateful group of people. Grateful people are easy to be around. Who's hard to be around? Ungrateful people. Anybody do that recently? Right? And it's tricky because they call being around ungrateful people, they call it by different names. Like, what's that one name they call it? Oh yeah, family get-togethers. I'm kidding. No, we all know when you're around ungrateful people, it just sucks the life out of you. When you're around grateful people, you feel good. That's one of the reasons I'm 19 years in and I'm still this excited about it. Go find somebody where you're at that's been in 19 years like me and is this crazy excited about it. It's because the kind of people I get to do it with. Does that make sense? Where I came from before this, ooh, Lord, it was septic. Meeting people that want to do the right thing for the right reason, that's our house of values. All right. Now, educational pieces. We have 2 more educational pieces that are vital. One's online and one is in person and will be in person again soon. We have our online university, Alliance University. We built it as a resource to help people get systematically trained. So if you're out there right now and you're going, I got a job, I hate it, trying to get away from it, we get you. We talk to folks like you all the time. We help folks like you all the time. We can help build a schedule for sales and recruiting around what you're doing. You just tell us what your obligations are, we'll work around it. And one of the things we can work around it is our online university. It means you can get systematically educated no matter what your situation is. We got courses on there, not from theory, not from quote unquote sales trainers, but from people that actually go out and do it and have done it at a high level. That's the only people we allow to teach on our online university, people that have done it at a high level. That's who you'll learn from. And again, that goes back to our value of gratitude as a company. It's only in a company that's got gratitude as a value that you can get the top people to give their time to an online university that, quite frankly, they won't make much money off of, because it will be largely other people that learn from it. But that's our value of gratitude and our value of community. That's that in action, our online university. But our online university, you can learn at lunch breaks, you can learn at night, you can learn on the weekends, how to sell the policies, how to make the phone calls, how the products work, all of that online. Now you take that and you accompany with what we call hotspots. What's a hotspot? It's our in-person sales meeting. We have them in about 90 cities across America, and we're looking to go to 200 and 300 cities across America. That's why we're looking for more leaders, because we go back to the opportunity piece. It's massive. You'll bring all your friends. We'll never get to all of it. That's how massive it is. But we have these meetings all across the country called hotspots. It's an extension of our value of community. So if you're looking to sell, you can go there and get trained. You can go there and get loved on and supported. You can go and learn. If you're looking to build a team, that should really give you goosebumps. Why? Because you can hire people all over the country, and they can learn and get trained through the online university and through our hotspots, no matter where they're at and no matter where you're at. I say no matter where they're at because we are a very entrepreneurial company. We don't have like, oh, that's protected territory, that's so-and-so's territory. We don't do that. We're an entrepreneurial company. You want to build all across the country? I highly recommend it. Why? Because there's all kinds of cool places that you'll want to see tax deductively. But build all over the country. We have hotspot meetings all across the country. Like I said, it's a extension of our value of community. So if you're looking to sell, you've got a place where you can get trained, you can get high fives, you can get hugs. And you say, I'm not a hugger. Hey, I wasn't a hugger when I met these guys either. In fact, quite frankly, when I met them, here was my thought. Here's how cynical I was. When I met these guys, I was like, they sure are good at pretending to love each other. That's where I was at mentally and emotionally at that point. And now I'm one of the huggers. I'm a converted hugger. We'll convert you too. But that's part of our extension of community, a place to be, a place to learn, a place to grow, a place to get challenged too. You meet our top producers and they'll stretch you. So if you're looking to sell, we got resources to get you educated and trained. If you're looking to build, oh my goodness, we got a network all over the country. In fact, if you're like me, when I looked at what these guys had 19 years ago, I was like, oh my goodness, who do I know where and how many numbers can I call right now? That's how massive our educational program is. Now we got to get to some sales. We have leads and we continue to evolve in leads. The leads 19 years ago, that's what got me in. I came from a cold call door knocking background. I'm talking knocking on 150 to 160 doors a day in the senior market, cold calling. Now, you may have been through some times in your life where someone made you feel this little. But when you knock on somebody else's grandma's door and she cusses you out, she says you off her porch, that make you feel about that small. So doing that 5-6 days a week, long days. When would you start knocking? When I didn't think they'd call the police. When did you stop knocking? After the last time they called the police. I mean, we had to hustle. So when I saw the lead program here, I was like, holy crap. And whoever invited you on this call can show you actual samples and copies. We do it many different ways, but they're all the same in that they know what it's about, and then they've given us personal information to reach back to us. When I saw the direct mail piece 19 years ago, I was like, oh my God, the first bullet point is death. I mean, it couldn't be more clear. I mean, sometimes you'll call them up and they'll be like, oh, we didn't know what that was about. And I'm like, let me refresh your memory. Death. Sound like something you read recently? I mean, they're that specific. Now, be crystal clear. I'm a realist. You're not going to call every single one of them up and then be like, oh, yes, we've been anticipating your call. We have money. Shall we meet you? Right? Because you're dealing with people. You're still dealing with people. But here's what I saw 19 years ago. I saw something that showed me this person at least knows they need life insurance. And if they at least know they need life insurance, you give me enough of them, I'm not going to sell them all, but we are about to make some big things happen. And that's you heard my story. That was the rise. Just calling as many as I could call, as many as I could get, wherever they were. I didn't care, 3, 4, 5 hours in a car. Oh my goodness, yeah, wherever I could get them. And it's been like that for the last 19 years. And it's so cool that we got in Andy Albright, a CEO that continues to work to make things better. You understand that most companies, once they get to a certain size, the leadership gets too scared of sliding backwards, so they stop trying new things. I was just on a call before this, and I mentioned it earlier. I'm still like trying to focus on what I'm talking about here because I'm thinking about that. And I'm just going, whoa. I was 19 years in. I was just on a call where it's just like Andy's continuing to evolve and grow things. It's just like, whew, so much opportunity. But that's the lead program. Now, what do you do when you get to the house? We got our ATM. This is my personal one, my personal ATM. If you're looking at this and going, oh no, flip chart presentation, stay with me. This is not like some boring, according to statistics will show that statistics of this, we want your personality. What this is a guide. It's a guide to move you through the appointment and keep you from getting off in the gutter. To me, it's a lot like the gutter, in bowling, the blockers you can get to keep the ball from going in the gutter. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should either have some kids or borrow some kids and go bowling with them in. Oh my, it's amazing. Since I've had children, this is just my personal testimonial. I'm carrying like a 240 average. It's pretty impressive. Now why? Why? Because if you don't throw in the gutter, it's not hard to keep scoring. Does that make sense? That's what the ATM is. It's a guide to keep you from getting in the gutter. Makes sense? It keeps you moving through the right steps in the right order to get you through to a close. And we have people that do it in the home. We have people that do it over the phone. And the cool thing is we have plenty of training to show you how to do it. All right. Next thing, the levels. And I know you can't probably hardly see this, but whoever hired you can get you a copy of this. This to me is one of my favorite things when I go out on the road and talk about the Alliance, getting to talk about this. Why? Because you can get promoted as fast as you want. You can move as slow as you want. But here's the beautiful piece. You're in charge. You're in charge. You ever felt held back before? Well, here's the good news. Nobody can hold you back here. Nobody can hold you back here because what you do is where you go. The stuff that doesn't matter here, race doesn't matter here. Religion doesn't matter here. Height doesn't matter here. Education doesn't matter here. We've got people, I've had people make their first $150,000 and then go get a GED. And I've got people on my team that have their PhD. Now, I myself, I'm an educated man. I have a certificate in air conditioning repair from Southwestern Community College. So to any fellow scholars out there, I just want you to know, I get you. There's a place for you here too. But all that stuff that matters out there don't matter here. Who your mommy and daddy were, who your mommy and daddy weren't, doesn't matter here. None of that stuff that matters out there matters here. And here's the cool thing. You can move as fast as you want. Meaning you start here, but if you perform here, guess where you go after 60 days? Right there. You can skip all those levels. You can earn a 30, 40, 50% raise in 60 days. It didn't used to always be like that. It used to be 2 months, 2 months, 2 months, 2 months. But again, it's the luxury of having a CEO that ain't a scaredy cat. Last year, we said, hey, let's just remove all those blocks. And if they do it, let them move up as fast as they want. So you can move as fast as you want. It's a beautiful thing we call the levels. I know you can't really see all that online, but whoever invited you can get you that new agent guide. We've got a big thing on it in there, and they can walk you through exactly what you need to do to move up as fast as you want. All right. Now, let's talk about the money. I'm going to keep this piece pretty simple. Typically, when I do it at the hotels out there, I've got a giant marker board. We can walk through a bunch of scenarios, but I'm going to keep it pretty simple. Our most basic thing that you'll sell is life insurance. The way it works, when you start with us, you're going to collect about 5 times what you collect when you sell a life insurance policy. So let's say you sell a life insurance policy for $100. Pretty common. Pretty common $100 a month life insurance policy. That means you're going to make about 500. And the cool thing is, as you move up the levels, that percentage grows and grows and grows and grows and grows to eventually making 10, 11, 12 times what you collect. And then from there, it's how much do you want to do? How much do you want to do? Here's what's crazy. And this is when I was getting off that call. I'm trying to focus on this one because I'm still thinking about that call. I'm getting off that call going, we're going to see people go to 40 sales a week. We're going to see people go to 50 sales a week. We're going to see crazy things happen that we've never seen happen because of where we're at right now and because of the concepts that we've opened up. We're going to see crazy numbers happen that have never happened before. But here's what I'll tell you. I can give you a very basic path to run on. If you want to make a six-figure income, if you'll give us about 5 to 8 hours every week on the phone, scheduling appointments, and about 20 to 25 hours running those appointments, that's a six-figure and beyond income. And again, as you do it, you'll get better at it. And those are just our very basic products. I mean, when you start helping people with retirement, you start protecting people's retirements, when you start helping people with things like Medicare supplement, when you start helping people with health matching accounts, there's so much that will add to it. The best thing I can tell you is whoever invited you on this call, find out who the biggest agency manager they can get you in touch with and let them draw it out and work it out for you. Now that's one side. Remember, I said you can sell, you can also build. If you want to build, it can get crazy. How crazy? How crazy do you want to get? When I saw this 19 years ago, that's what Andy Albright said. He said, how crazy do you want to get with it? How crazy do you want to get with it? If you want to make $1 million a year, you get somewhere between 60 and 80 people making sales every week. It's $1 million a year income. If you want to do half, it's just math. Does that make sense? It's just math. And you can hire people all over the country. And you can hire people you ain't talked to in 10 years. You can hire people you met 10 seconds ago. There's no limit on what you can do with it. So the money can get pretty crazy pretty fast. And here's the cool thing. You accompany that opportunity with our values. That's what really makes this thing go. Good people making good money, doing good things with it. That's the heart of this company. And that's when you read our values, you'll see that shine through. So that's the alliance. That's what we're doing. That's the opportunity. That's how we're attacking it, and a little bit about how the money works. But what I want to do is get some of my friends on real quick here in the end. Let's get Mark Hutchison. Mark has been with me for, well, I'll let him tell. He's been with me a long time. Mark's a dude I love dearly. His family, his beautiful family, we love them. And Mark, here's what I want you to share with the folks. Tell us, when you came on board, what you were doing, what made you go, I want to do this? And then really what you're most fired up about now.
Hey, Stephen. Almost 10 years ago, I was working as a rookie electrician here in South Carolina and was making $10.25 an hour. And I just knew that there had to be more out there. I just knew that I was a hard worker. I knew that I had been raised to work and provide. And I just knew that doing electrical work at $10.25 an hour would never provide for a family. So fortunately, somebody shared this opportunity with me, and I went to one of the local hotspots that Stephen talked about, and I was hooked. I was like, man, if it's this simple, if people are asking for life insurance and they need help, then let's go help them and let's get paid well to do it. That was going on 10 years ago. And that first full year, not knowing anything about life insurance besides what I had to learn to pass the test, and not really, knowing exactly necessarily what I was doing, excuse me, just following the system that the Alliance has in place. I went out and sold insurance about 2 days a week and made $75,000 that first year. And that was the first year that that was the only year in 10 years that we made less than six figures. Every year since then has been well over six figures. I love being able to control my schedule, be able to help families that are asking for it, and be able to make a difference. And as long as there's people needing life insurance, in other words, as long as people are dying, this is where my calling's at with this group of people. I've never seen another organization or company that is so focused on helping the agents be successful, but doing it the right way. And And like I said, man, happy to be part of the team. And what I would say, if you're out there listening and you're thinking, hey, I'm not really sure if this is for me, then get your license and give it a shot. Give it a shot, come on board, get around us, get around the culture, see what we're about, see where our heart is, see what our leadership looks like, and just know that we really believe we can make a difference in, excuse me, in America with the right kind of people. So we need more good people like you to come on board and help us out.
I love it, dude. Real quick, while I got you, Mark, what's some of the places you've traveled around the world with us, and some of the cool things that you've gotten to see?
So I had to get a passport when I joined the Alliance because as you start helping families and making money, you start winning trips. And it wasn't something that I joined the Alliance for. It was just an awesome additional byproduct of doing what we do. And very first trip I went on with the Alliance was to Aruba. After that, we did a Caribbean cruise on the largest cruise ship in the world at that point. We've been on Greek islands cruises, been to the Mediterranean, to Spain, France, Italy, been in the Roman Colosseum, been up to Canada, going to Thailand next year. It's just crazy, dude. Just the way we get to travel the world with our friends. Stephen, I've told you this before, but you're closer to me than some of my own brothers in my family. And it's not because I'm at odds with my brothers. It's just, here's an opportunity for us to go travel the world with people that we get to know in this business and change lives together. And we're like a family. We're like a giant family all across the U.S. making a difference in people's lives, man. And we're not slowing down. We're going places continually. And we need more people to come on board and continue to make that difference with us.
I love it, dude. I love it, dude. I'm with you, man. And it's funny because like if you're brand new, you'll hear us call our summer leadership. We used to call it LeadCon, but here's what happened. Everybody started calling our summer leadership convention family reunion because they would say it's like a family reunion. And so we just said, well, let's just call it family reunion. And that's our next big event we've got coming up. After that, we've got our national convention in January. So some great opportunities to get around us. But I always love that thought of in the summer, we got our family reunion because that's what this thing really operates like. Jeremico, dude, I was just listening to you on the other call. And I'm so proud of you adapting, and you have been steady in my ear telling me stuff that you're doing, changes you're making to adapt and overcome in these crazy times. So I thought, you'd be another great person to share and talk with everybody a little bit. Can you come on with us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, dude.
All right, man. Well, good. I am Jeremico Edwards. I've been with the Alliance. I'm Director Stephen Davies. I've been with the Alliance for about a decade now, and it has been an amazing journey. Before this, I worked in the factory. I had a couple of jobs before the factory. I worked at Home Depot, CVS, and then I landed in the factory. And during that time when I was hunting for a job, I've always dreamed of like having a big house and owning Lexus cars and things like that. Because I've always figured like if somebody can have it, I can have it. Like I've always wanted to travel the world. Like there were people, sitting in the front row for concerts, and I was always trying to figure out like how come they can sit in the front row, but every time my friends and I would go to a concert, like we would be in the nosebleeds. Whenever we would go to the basketball game, it was like watching a Titantron, and it was like being at home watching it on TV. I couldn't figure out why people were getting things that I couldn't get. I landed in the factory because my father said go to school and get a good job, and definitely get a job in the factory, son. Like that's what my dad always told me: get a good job in the factory because you got benefits. And I quickly found out what the benefits were. The benefits were, you got to have a steady job and you come home and, you get to get up all over again and do it the next day. Like those were the benefits. Other than that, I couldn't figure out why people would stay in a job like that forever. Like we would get 30-minute lunches. And then I did some research and found out the criminals in jail, they get an hour for lunch. I'm just like, what is going on here? So I was looking for a way out the factory, and I found out how much Stephen Davies was making, and I wasn't skeptical. Like some people Some people are like broke and skeptical. I was broke, and I was just like, you know what? If Stephen Davies is making $1 million, what's his number? So the guy who talked to me about the business, he didn't want to do the business. And I said, bro, whatever. Look, just give me his number and I'll figure out what he's doing. Talked to Stephen, got signed up, got my license. My first commission, I'll never forget, my first commission after I got my license was $416. Now keep in mind, before I got my license, some people are like scared to try something different. Now, me growing up, I had a severe stuttering problem. I was able to overcome that. You know, I had a teacher. She kind of helped me out. She just said, kind of just, you know, breathe and take your time when you talk. She kind of helped me out. It's like, you know, it's funny. My parents paid her all the money just to say, relax and breathe. Okay. So anyway, I never thought I would be doing a business where I had to talk to people. So my first commission check was $416 and I was fired up. It's $416. So my first year, I made about 50,000. And that was cool. Like, I mean, I felt like I was rich. Steven said, bro, can you do 75 next year? I did 75. And then it's like, I've been over 6 figures ever since. And it's just like, I never thought that I would ever, keep in mind, I've been here going on a decade. When I was in the factory, I said to myself, if I could make 50,000, I will be living life. And now my check for tomorrow is 4,000, like over $4,000. And that's in one day, over $4,000. That's crazy. That type of money get you paranoid. Like you start telling people making $4,000 a day, like they think you're dealing drugs, but it's like, no, it's totally legal. You go see people. And so just to have the opportunity to go out and help people like this family I got coming up after this call, I got a family coming up. If they answer the phone, they are mine. Okay. They are mine. I'm going to help them because people need our help. So just the fact you can help people with insurance and you can have clients all around the city, all around the world. Like I had a guy, just the joy you can bring to other people's lives. I had a couple, they won their first trip out of the country to Paris. So we all went to Paris last year. I had a guy call me up today, right before this call. And he said, hey, I got a couple. They're about 3 hours away from me on the other side of the state. I'm going to help them out. And, he has diabetes and she has something else going on with her health, but he's going to write them up over the phone. So that's the ability that we have. He's going to help his friends that's 3-4 hours away from him over the phone. That's crazy talk. He's going to make his second and third sale. So just the fact we can help people like that, build a team, we can build our freedom and we can travel the world. Where some of the places we've been, I've been to Aruba. I've been to Punta Cana. We did a Greek Isles cruise. Let's see, we're going on an Alaskan cruise. Man, oh man, it's just, Hawaii. We've been to Hawaii. Like, that's crazy. Look, and it's not because of me. Like, I don't have anything special. It's because of the system. So like the leadership here, Stephen Davies, I seen Stephen go through gut-wrenching times. And so when times like this come up, I'm just like, well, I seen Stephen go through worse. So who am I to roll over and die? I got to step up and be a leader and take control and help as many people as I can, because these are times when we need leadership. And because of the leadership here in this company, I'm able to lead people through tumultuous times, just like we're going through now. So, man, I appreciate being here. Thank you, Stephen, for your leadership. Thank you, Andy, for your leadership. All the Alliance leaders. I thank everybody. And that's all I got, man.
Proud of you, dude. Appreciate you sharing, man, and appreciate you stepping up and helping lead, and offering input, helping people make those transitions. That's awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff. And in case you're wondering, he said, I'm getting $4,000 tomorrow. How many times do you get paid a week? He's got 2 other checks this week. So yeah, it can get crazy. Last up, got a couple that Holly and I we've just grown so fond of. We love these guys. They're leaders. And when you see somebody that sees big things, it gets me excited. That's what we see in this couple. So last up, Brandon, let's get the Beals on. Walk us through the same thing. Where were y'all at before you found us? What did you see in us that made you go, man, I want to join with these guys? And what have you seen since? Brandon, you're muted, buddy.
All right, can you hear us?
We can hear you now.
Awesome, perfect. First off, thank you so much, Stephen, for having us on the call.
If you flip the phone sideways, that might give us a full view.
Yeah.
Whoop. Ah, there we go. Awesome.
Okay.
Rock on.
Cool. All right, thanks again, like I said, for having us on the call. Brandon and I love you and Holly and the kids so much, and the dogs too. So a little background on me real quick. Before I was a part of the Alliance, I was working with kids who have autism, and I absolutely loved it. It was during that time in my life, I thought it was a dream job for me. And let's see, it's funny, Brandon and I were just talking about this story yesterday. So I had been doing that job for a couple years, and then I realized once we moved here that I was literally spending an entire paycheck plus some just in tolls and gas to get there in a month's time. So, and I wasn't making that much money to begin with. So kind of what pulled me in personally was Brandon started this company before I did. Okay, so he's been here about 2.5 years. And real quick, we're direct to Eduardo Soto. We love him so much. And he brought you in about 2.5 years ago. So I've been here about 2 years in myself. And I just got pulled in. Really, I fell in love with the people, for one. And there have been times in the beginning where, I don't know if this is for me. You know, I want to work with kids. I was kind of going back and forth with myself. And I just kept getting pulled back into the Alliance every single time, and for good reasons. So I am completely stuck here. I don't want to leave anymore. I absolutely love what we do, how we get to help families. And if you're new and you're watching this call right now, I just want to say you are literally joining at a time where there's so much opportunity. And I hope that you really grasp that. And I hope you can understand and see that. Because we're living in a time right now where people don't have opportunity. They don't have the opportunity to help families, or they don't have the opportunity to go to their normal job or their work like they usually could. So we have such a huge opportunity here at the Alliance, and we are so grateful for that. I'm just going to give the rest. I'm going to hand it over to you.
Awesome. I love this girl with everything within me, man. Like, seriously, I wouldn't be who I am without her. And I also wouldn't be who I am without you, Stephen. You, Ed Soto, Andy Albright, like, the things that you guys have done for me and done for Ashley are just, like, we can't thank you enough, man. Like, seriously, like, Mark hit the nail on the head, man. Like, I'm really close to my brothers. Like, I have 4, but I feel like I've gained 3 more, you know what I mean, with you, Andy, and Ed Soto, you know what I mean? So it really is a family type atmosphere here. And I was with, like you, Stephen, I was with another insurance group before this one. And I remember I was there for about almost 10 months, and I had made $0 in that entire 10 months. And every day I would come home and she's looking at me like, are you still going to these meetings like every Tuesday and Saturday morning? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going. But then my first 2 weeks after being licensed with the Alliance, my first direct deposit is $16,500 and 2 pennies from Mutual of Omaha. So that don't suck. That was kind of like a saving grace, if you will, man, because I had about $200 in my pocket at that time. And I don't even think she knew it, but as a man, you know, I mentioned this yesterday on the call. As a man, you feel like my job is to provide and protect, and I wasn't living up to that. I wasn't doing it. So again, I thank you and Andy. I thank Ed Soto for everything you guys have done for us. It's been a crazy ride this year already. Ashley and I did qualify for Thailand, and we're super excited about that. We did last week, we had one of our biggest weeks where we submitted over $86,000 in premium, and crazy excited about that. Got some new people that we're excited about as well. It's just, it's one of these, it's a time in the world now where there's 3.3 million people filing for unemployment. There's 3.3 million people who need an opportunity, and we have it. So if you're listening in on this call, if you're one of those people, or if you know one of those people, like, talk to them. Let us talk to them. You know, like, this is the time. Like, we're in a time right now where, I hate to say it, but people are afraid. People are scared, you know, and what do? They turn to us to help. They're afraid of losing their retirement because of the way the stock market is, because of this COVID-19. They're afraid of passing away unexpectedly, you know, because of this COVID-19 virus, and leaving their families to have to, you know, come out of pocket for a service, to come out of pocket for even a cremation. You know what I mean? So I feel like we help people on two fronts. We help people in their home or virtually, like we're doing now, you know, with life insurance, with retirement, and we help give people an opportunity. We give people a chance to be financially free. I'll be honest with you guys, like, I'm 100% easily bribed and money motivated. One of my dreams is to, you know, purchase a 10,000 plus square foot home, have one big Tonka truck sitting outside, and one tiny small super race car that I probably can't even fit into. You know what I mean? And I can do that here. I can achieve my dreams here. Andy Albright didn't buy one jet. The man, this joker went out and bought two. You know what I mean? So if he can get two, I know I can at least get one. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. I feel like Ashley and I have an opportunity to just, you know, outside of Andy Albright, be the next big thing in the alliance. That's coming from me. She feels the same way. Steven, I know you feel the same way, and that's what we're doing, and that's what we're striving for, man. That's all I got for you. That's all me and Ashley got for you. We love you, dude. Seriously.
Holly and I love you guys too, man. And we're so proud of you guys, so proud of the whole team. And it's, there's so many people I could have brought on the call tonight. So many people that are at that point that are just like, they're having breakthroughs. They're having stuff happen. They're seeing things for the first time. We got so many of them on the team, and Holly and I love you guys so much. I'm seeing it all over the Alliance. So many great things happening right now. And Holly and I love the Alliance. We love you guys. I'm so glad I got to chat with you a little bit tonight. For all the brand new people, I'm getting into the last 3 hours of my discourse, so focus up. Now, for all the new people, I just want to leave you with a couple things. Please follow up with whoever called, whoever invited you. I'm sure that they've already set up an appointment to chat with you afterwards. Ask them any questions you got. We want you having answers, not questions. And in closing, please don't take anything that me or my friends said to make you think this is easy. It's not. Nothing worth doing is. All the good stuff in life is uphill. But while it's not easy, what we do is very simple. And if you're not afraid of work and you got a heart for people, this thing could be for you and your family what it's been for me and my family over the last 19 years. And I hope that's the case. I'm glad I got to chat with you a little bit. I hope to meet you in person and look forward to getting to know y'all. Y'all have a good night.